Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Coming to Resolution. We're going to talk about suppressed emotions today, um, which is a very current topic for me anyway. So I have I have quite a bit to say about this. For context, I don't just bottle up emotions and wait to explode. I don't do that, but I do suppress emotions in order to get shit done. I'm not gonna get into why I'm feeling a certain way, but there are a lot of feelings that are going on in my world, and um, I'm suppressing them so I can get shit done. So I got some news while I was at work and had to just suppress until work was done. And now I'm doing it to get this done and have this conversation. I will address the emotions later. Please don't come for me. When it comes to suppressed emotions, a lot of people just kind of bury all of their feelings down, so they don't have to deal with them. And then those feelings are never addressed. They're never taking the step to heal from those feelings or whatever it is, whatever event. And that in turn ends up really hurting you. Those feelings that aren't getting acknowledged, they when they build up the way that they do because you have one event that happens, right, and then it's just thing after thing after thing, and you keep suppressing emotions so you don't have to deal with them in the moment, but then it eventually turns into like a shaken soda bottle. You know what I mean? You shake it up enough, and then whenever it just slightly cracks open, it explodes everywhere. That's literally you. That's how your emotions work. If you relieve the pressure by acknowledging emotions, then dealing with emotions that you haven't yet dealt with after a certain event or whatever happened becomes much easier because you've been relieving the pressure. You've been taking the step to heal. It just gets a whole lot easier, and I'm sure people know this, but I just want to put it out there anyway. So something I've noticed is whenever I myself suppress emotions for a certain amount of time. It, it depends on how long. But if I just suppress emotions and I don't address anything, I'm not taking care of my feelings or getting anything out. Um, my sleep gets fucked up. My eating habits are fucked up. Like I'm trying to put on some weight right now. If I let this stuff bottle up, then that's not going to happen. Um, because I won't be eating. You know what I mean? And your gut health and your physical health are directly correlated to your mental health. So if you're not eating, if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not doing your self care and whatever it is you do throughout the day to do that, um, then your cortisol goes up. You're not sleeping correctly. You're not eating correctly, and then it just becomes a whole mess of emotions because now you're discombobulated because your brain's not working how it's supposed to because you've not been eating or sleeping well. You know what I mean? And when that happens, what I have done is I have taken whatever feelings out on other people that didn't deserve it, and I've seen other people do it too. To avoid that, nowadays I let myself feel whatever it is I'm feeling, and I just work the fuck out. I will I will work myself to absolute fucking oblivion. Like I either won't be able to feel anything or everything hurts by the time I'm done. And I'm not necessarily recommending that because that does do damage if you're not sleeping well or eating correctly, but that's what I do. I'm absolutely an advocate for suppressing certain emotions in order to get shit done because unfortunately life doesn't stop for us. So if you're suppressing whatever it is for, a day because you have a really busy day and you you have to keep yourself in check in order to get that stuff done. I get that. I do it all the time. Um, but let's say something happens, something that really just eats at you, something really fucks you up happens, and you suppress it for months and months on end. That takes a really big toll on not only your mental health, but it takes a toll on your physical health too. Because since those two are correlated, if the brain's not doing well, the body's not doing well, and vice versa. You know what I mean? That's why I've been a really big advocate for anybody who deals with anxiety or depression or whatever, like, or if they're just simply grieving. I highly recommend that those people go and do something physical. Like, I don't care if you're going for a walk or you're doing yoga or you're lifting weights. I don't care, but something to get your body moving, because that our bodies are not designed to be stationary. Our bodies aren't built for a stationary lifestyle. Now, um, that being said, whenever you start doing physical stuff, I don't care what it is, it'll be gradual, but you will notice a change in how you're feeling, because you're almost it's almost like you're putting those feelings into whatever it is you're doing, and that in turn is a release. It drops your cortisol levels. It helps you sleep because you're using your body. You know what I mean? It helps a lot. I'm a really big advocate for that. If that isn't enough, and sometimes for me it hasn't been, I would recommend a an outlet of some sort. I don't care if it's a hobby, or if you're a writer, or if you're a photographer, or whatever. If you have an outlet for getting that stuff out, that's even better. If you can combine the two, that's what's honestly the best. Because doing if you're doing workouts or exercising in any way, and you're also putting your feelings into an outlet, a healthy one, a constructive one, a hobby even, um, then you're not you're not going to be the exploding soda bottle. You know, every single time I have seen someone do this, every time I've seen someone be that exploding soda bottle, it not only makes them an absolute mess, but it affects everyone around them. And I have noticed that about any time I do it myself. If I am suppressing and suppressing and suppressing, and I just don't deal with it, that's what happens. And I don't want that. Um, I don't feel like most people want that. So, in order to prevent that from happening, you almost have to like do maintenance. Self care I see as mental health maintenance. You know what I mean? It's like doing an oil change on your car. For those who don't know, if you don't change your oil after a certain amount of miles, um, your engine will lock up and you will not be able to run your car. Your body and your brain is the same way. If you are not doing your self care and you are not addressing feelings and you're not taking the steps to heal and so on and so forth, then that's you. Your body and your brain will make you take a break. It will not be convenient. It will not be scheduled. It will make you, because your central nervous system, after a certain amount of stress and a certain amount of time of not dealing with it, and even being in fight or flight, because a lot of people deal with that. If you're in constant fight or flight, especially for those of you who have anxiety, you have to do that stuff. You have to do the self care stuff, because whenever that break comes, it's not going to feel good, but your body will make you do it. So it's what do you want to do? Do you want to do the maintenance, or do you want to break the fuck down and your body make you stop? You know what I mean? I have personally been in a state where I was working really hard physically, and I was under a lot of stress. And I wish I could exaggerate whenever I say I literally felt like the world was on my shoulders. And there were there was a time where I thought I was just sick. It's not what happened. There was nothing wrong with me, like at all. There was no sickness, there was no deficiencies, there was no nothing. I was just shot. My body just shut the fuck down on me, and when that happened, I didn't know why it happened. But whenever I figured it out and I learned why it happened, that's whenever I decided I was going to start doing the maintenance and not allowing myself to bottle things up the way that I used to, because what I used to do wasn't healthy at all. I would bottle things up and never address them. And then whenever something that shouldn't have affected me the way that it did, it really affected me. Like to the extent that I was breaking things and I was freaking the fuck out and yelling at people that didn't deserve to be yelled at, like it's just not what I want to do. And that's what happens to a lot of people that suppress these emotions. They end up breaking the fuck down. Their body just shuts down on them. It's not something I recommend allowing to happen, especially if you are trying to raise a family or you're trying to maintain relationships or whatever the case is. Even if you're trying to be an overachiever, quote unquote overachiever at work. um, I don't recommend you allow the bottling to happen, because whenever that break, that unscheduled break comes, it's going to make a mess of just about everything around you in some way or another. So just keep that in mind. Take this into account, that your body is just going to stop on you, or your brain even, whatever it is. I strongly recommend that you get a healthy dose of sunlight if that's possible where you are. In my area, it's not been possible. But make sure you're getting your vitamins, you're eating well. I don't I don't give a fuck what people say about fast food. If fast food is all you can get, it's better than nothing. There's nutrition in fast food. There's just not as much as if you were cooking food at home. It's fine. But make sure you're eating. Make sure you're eating well. Um, and make sure that whenever you're addressing these emotions, you're doing it from a place of love to yourself. That's honestly the most important part. If you are really hard on yourself and you're holding yourself to a certain standard all the time, and you're not allowing any kind of wiggle room for you to take care of you, this will not work. You will not be able to take the first step to get to the healing, or to get to dealing with anything. It's not going to happen that way. So be extra mindful. You're a human being. Human beings are we're very simple when it comes down to it. Our brains very complex. Our behaviors and what helps us very simple. Do the maintenance. It's like your fucking car. Again, oil change. Do your maintenance, because it will help you a whole lot in the long run. Just do the maintenance. It's very simple to be able to have some sort of time management, and carve out some time for some sort of self care. I don't care if you're a reader, if you're a writer, if you just want to sit in silence and like smell a candle. I don't give a fuck. Like whatever it is that you want to do for self care, fucking do it, and make sure that you're doing it somewhat regularly, because that will honestly help a lot. Do it at least once a week, because once a week will honestly take you really far. Whatever your self-care is, if you're in a bath, or if you're going to the nail salon, or you're getting your hair done, or you're sitting in silence, or you're watching sports, or whatever the fuck your self-care is, make sure you're carving out time to do it, especially if you're a really busy person, because that will in turn help you get to where you feel like you're not so overwhelmed. You know what I mean? It's going to be gradual. It's going to take some time and some work, but it can happen. So that's all I've got for that one. I will see you in the next one.